Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Bleacher Report just put out maybe 1 or 2 days ago a list where they ranked the top 25 WWE women's wrestlers of all time. Today we're going to go through all 25, take a look. What do we agree with? What do you disagree with? I don't know. I'm curious to kind of go down here and see Eric here's opinion. Before we get started, please make sure you subscribe, leave your likes, leave your comments, check out everything in the description. Check out my Patreon and the Stache Club Patreon and Stache Club stuff and my stuff and all the socials and blah, blah. You get it. Without further ado, let's get on here. Starts out with a nice little blurb about Rhea being a top star, AJ Lee's decade away, the 4 horsewomen, other sort of names that need to be mentioned for the sake of history and also their legacy, and then head of WrestlePalooza, blah, blah. All right. Number 25 through 21, Michelle McCool starting things out. I think that's a great pick. I don't think 25 is crazy at all. 24, Jacqueline. Okay, would have maybe thought Jacqueline would have been a little higher, but okay, 20. There's a lot of talented women. Bull Nakano, that's a name that got mentioned up in this little blurb. Not as familiar with Bull Nakano stuff. I know definitely a staple in the sort of early 90s time era, but okay, all right, 23. 22, Shayna Baszler. Sure, bringing some sort of MMA style sort of stuff to the mainstream, I guess, in NXT and on the main roster. Don't know. Okay. I was thinking maybe I'd put her under Bull and maybe, Jacqueline, Michelle McCool. I don't know. Shayna deserves to be on this list for sure, but okay. I'm not trying to just disagree for the sake of disagreeing. Alundra Blaze at 21. WWE Hall of Famer in 2015. Obviously a staple in just, wrestling history in general, but, especially women's wrestling history here. WCW, WWE. I mean, I would say one of the most famous moments in WWE history when she showed up on Nitro, threw the WWF Women's title in the trash can. Like, that clip still gets played all the time. So, all right, we'll go to number 20. We have Liv Morgan at 20. All right, for every single one, I'm not going to sit here and be like, they should be higher, they should be higher. We're going to get through the list, give our 2 cents here and there, but ultimately I want to get through the list and be like, talk about who should be higher, who should be lower. Liv, I'm surprised, is as low as 20. Granted, I think she has a lot of career left. She's done so much already in her career, but she has so many world titles to win, more world titles to win, more feuds to do. She has a WrestleMania to main event, so I get why maybe she's now at 20, but Liv Morgan's going to be up there for sure, even the next couple of years. 19, Alexa Bliss, a little bit more longevity than Liv, just kind of comparing to, who we just saw. Alexa, too, I think someone that oftentimes doesn't get the credit that she deserves. So I like seeing Alexa this high again. Maybe we'll like higher. AJ Lee at 18. Wow. I mean, honestly, just for the sake of like the article and the article, noting her, 10 years away. And, I don't know, this article being very recent, I would have thought a recency bias would have came into play a little bit with AJ Lee. Not that it's the only reason she should be high. I honestly thought she would have been higher given what she's done for the women's revolution, but I think maybe a lot of this list is, all-encompassing. Legacy, how they compete in the ring, kayfabe stuff, actual sports, entertainer stuff on the mic. I don't know. I'm kind of, does it say, we don't really get like a criteria here of how these are ranked. Ooh, okay, should have read this at the beginning. This says, ranked according to their in-ring ability, historical significance to pro wrestling, said historical weird, and its premier promotion, mainstream appeal, and championship resume. Okay, so with all that, I wish I read that at the beginning. With all that into consideration, makes sense why AJ Lee isn't higher. I think once we see her in-ring ability, we haven't seen her in 10 years, so you can't really rank her, especially when in-ring ability is a big part of this criteria, and we haven't really seen her and how her in-ring ability matches up. She's like one of, if not the best of her time at that time, but we haven't seen her, wrestle in 2025 yet. I mean, depending, this is going to come out maybe before WrestlePalooza, maybe after, don't know. But regardless, a monumental piece of the women's revolution deserves to be on here. Number 19, Mickie James. Hell yeah. Again, surprised Mickie James wouldn't have been on top, but again, especially over the past 10 years, these new young women in WWE coming up in NXT, like, again, if we're taking everything into consideration, in-ring ability, wrestling, overall package in terms of on the mic and appeal and da-da-da, like, I don't know, I thought Mickie James would have been higher, but I think if I can pause right now, I think we're going to see a Rhea, a Trish, a Lita, and Io. I think they're going to be very high. The 4 horsewomen, I think, are all going to be very high, but let's keep going. 16, Natty. Okay. God, not what this is about, and this article does mention Bloodsport, but I think Natty goes even higher. If we just got, like, Natty Neidhart, I sound like a broken record. I say it in every single video or podcast, but if we just got Bloodsport, Natty Neidhart on WWE television, like, money. Natalia's great. Like, she has the history that, obviously part of the Hart family, and she wears that very proud in her sleeve with all the pink and whatever. But if we got this blood sport, all black, mean mug face natty, I think that shoots her up and it lets her wrestle a different style that I think is more appealing today. I don't know. Let's go on. 15. Oh my God, there's a picture of Io Sky already. Is Io Sky going to be only in the top 15? Again, someone who has a lot of career still ahead of her. But if we're really taking consideration, all right, I'm going to have myself. 15, Beth Phoenix, love to see it. I think that's great. I think someone that doesn't get enough credit of her time being or breaking the mold of what like the diva should be or whatever, and kind of being a big, strong, powerful force while also still being feminine, but while also being like, no, I can also kick your ass and I'm not just here to hold the butterfly title, you know? I'll respect the butterfly title. Now in hindsight, it is like, it's kind of it's like campy looking. I don't know. Moving on. 14, the Bella Twins. Oh, they didn't rank them separate. That's odd. I mean, sure, they are twins. They are a tag team. They did debut pretty much together, kind of. And also were around in that conversation with a Paige and a AJ Lee of that time, pushing for, you know, women to be included. Hashtag give divas a chance, right? I do think you could have ranked them separately. I don't know. Not that we're here to like split hairs, but that's interesting. They deserve to be on here though. 13, Io Sky low. And I know I'm the Io Sky guy. But like, Io Sky at 13, not even top 10 for Io. And again, I get it. We're taking into championship reigns and resumes and whatever. But if we're really, I don't know, man. Again, I think she's someone like Liv Morgan where has a lot of career left, not something like a broken record, but there's a lot more championships for Io Sky to win on the main roster and blah, blah, blah. But like, she is the best in ring in the WWE right now. Like it's, I don't know. All right, 13, whatever. Paige at 12. I mean, I love Paige. I think Paige gets a lot of unnecessary hate, but I think she is also a huge staple in laying the groundwork of the women's revolution, especially with her matches with AJ Lee and coming up with a Nikki Bella and a Brie Bella. However, over the likes of like an Io Sky and even like a Liv Morgan and Alexa, I don't know. Paige respectfully seems high here. Again, really pushed the sport forward. Is a standout in women's wrestling for sure. Deserves to be on here, but okay. All right. Number 11, Ronda Rousey. What? Huh? I don't know. I mean, I guess if this is purely a popularity contest and we're talking about who was the most popular in 2018, then like, sure, I guess. I don't know. I mean, the tag match with Triple H and Stephanie was great. Like, I don't know. And yes, like this article does say, like main evented WrestleMania 35 helped that become possible with her popularity. Like, I'm not saying she wasn't a star and not a big name, but like, I don't know. She's not lacing a lot of these other women's boots that we've mentioned before. This is saying she had an impact. And like, again, yes, I think her popularity and name did help, you know, get that WrestleMania 35 main event. They deserved it in general, but you know what I mean? For if WWE is like, well, we don't wanna, and they get a Ronda Rousey, like they're gonna be like, oh, well, now we have Ronda. So now it's annoying, but like, you know, damn, that's crazy. I mean, I'm not here to just shit on Ronda, but like 11 over a lot of other women is kind of crazy. And also we're talking like long resume and like longevity. Like she wasn't around that long. She doesn't have a crazy resume. She doesn't really have any matches you can really point to that are like that crazy because of her performance. Like, I don't know. Am I just a hater? Am I just being a hater? I don't know. Like, I'm not saying she wasn't not important, but I think this article is relying a lot on the Ronda Rousey name to justify this. I don't know, man. We'll move on to number 10. All right, 10. Okay. Oh, all right. Now we are top 10 big picture stuff. Number 10 is Lita. I think rightfully so. Wouldn't have been mad if Lita's like a little high, but I'm glad Lita is at least in the top 10. Again, this is pre-Women's Revolution, pre-Horsewoman in the late 90s, early 2000s. Lita and Trish Stratus, and put Mickie James in there. Really pushed the sport of women's wrestling to make it, you know, respectable, and they put on some bangers. They have classic matches, classic rivalries, like, hell yeah. All right, who's number 9? Asuka, number 9. Awesome. I love that placement. One of the best workers of all time, currently, right now, a veteran to the sport, you know, of wrestling, long, you know, way before she entered WWE, but like at this point now, a legend in WWE for sure, future Hall of Famer. Can't say enough good things about Asuka. I think that's fantastic. Awesome. Now, granted, you know, we're not talking about the undefeated streak getting, you know, ended. We'll move on from we'll move on. We're not talking about that. We'll move on. 8, China. Love that. Again, super important. I'm not going to, regurgitate every single thing why all these women are important, because they all push the sport and they all put on boundary pushing matches and had, different characters and feuds. But, China was someone who had a different look, a different physique. I mean, it was in the Royal Rumble, was competing against men and kicking men's asses, IC champ. So I think this is very, very deserved. Boundary pushing. That's great. It's a great pick at 8. I mean, look at the name she was also like associated with: Eddie Guerrero, Dean Malenko, Hardcore Holly, Kurt Angle, Rikishi, DX. Obviously, like, yeah, man, that's a great pick. I'm glad to see China that high. Let's go to number 7, Bianca Belair. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Ooh, I'm glad Bianca's getting the respect she deserves. I mean, just a freak of an athlete. Freak used very respectfully, but like one of the most athletic women we've ever seen in this sport compete in the WWE. And someone too who I think has such a long career and a decorated career ahead of them that I'm glad is getting their shine already at number 7. It's a great pick. That's a really great pick. I'm excited for Bianca to come back. I hope her finger's been healing well, and I'm excited for the future. I'd love to see that at number 7. All right, coming down to number 6, we have Bayley. Again, great pick. Very recent photo used for Bayley. Fantastic. I think has already had such a legendary and Hall of Fame worthy career, and I don't think is anywhere close to done. I think oftentimes, not now these days, like when the 4 horsewomen were still kind of making a name for themselves on the main roster, Bayley, I don't want to say overlooked, but like of the 3, she was kind of always the 4th name of like, I don't know, I just feel like she didn't get the respect she deserved. And I think out of the 4 women, I think she fought the most to get that shine and recognition, and it goes a long way. So we haven't seen the rest, unless I forgot, we haven't seen the rest of the 4 horsewomen. So like, we'll say the top 5 is going to be for sure, deservingly so, Charlotte, Sasha, and Becky. Who else? We haven't seen a Rhea. We're seeing Trish Stratus. So I think all those 5 women are probably going to round out the top 5. Not to spoil things for you and myself, but like I think that's what we're looking at. Bayley, great pick here. Would love to see her in the top 5, but like it's tough competition up at the top. Number 5, my guess is Trish. My guess is Trish for no. It's probably Trish or Rhea. Maybe Rhea. Let's see what number 5 is. Sasha. Okay, cool. I mean, this is a WWE list. I don't know how much they're taking into consideration outside of the WWE, but like Mercedes has been killing it in AEW and going around to other promotions in Japan. Obviously, the belt collector Monet is like so sick. It's one of the coolest gimmicks in wrestling right now. Very interested to see what they're going to do with, I mean, she doesn't have the AEW title. She has, the AEW title is like the one title she doesn't have. She has the TBS one. Me and Jimmy talk about this all the time about what they're going to do at the end of this kind of, I mean, character is funny because like it's like funny that her character is winning all the titles. Like that's just her. But eventually you gotta give these titles back. Eventually you gotta start losing. And I think she can do that in like a very, very epic storytelling, glorious manner that also can propel her into the AEW World title if you do it right. Or she gets the AEW World title and she's like, I don't need these other 9 titles. Who knows? Sasha, very, very deserving of this. And I think something very important too to note, and I should have also noted it for Bianca Belair, and there's also many other women that, this should be noted for, but, someone like a Sasha Banks or a Bianca Belair really pushing the sport forward for not only women, but black women in general, and becoming what, I don't have stats in front of me, but like becoming what probably the, some of the most decorated black women in this sport in WWE, period. And just, pushing the envelope, breaking walls, breaking, what do they call it? Glass ceilings. I don't know. Future, let's say the limit, sky is the limit in the future for both these women. And I think that's just, it's an important note for history to, I think, make note of. And it's really cool to see the recognition they're getting, and they're even more recognized for things in the future. Okay, number 4, I think Sasha at 5 is a great pick. I think we're going to see, I don't know. I'd imagine Trish's, I don't know. I'm going to stop guessing. Number 4, Rhea at 4. Wow. Okay, so I think we're going to get Charlotte, Becky, Trish at the podium. Just like a superstar. There aren't many bigger stars in the WWE period than Rhea Ripley. Not even just talking about women's division or men's division. Like, Rhea Ripley is a superstar. She is someone who, whenever I talk to someone about wrestling, man, women, whatever, Rhea Ripley is always someone that comes up on their timeline. Like, I'm not even a wrestling fan, but like, I love Rhea Ripley. Drake loves Rhea Ripley. Drake, as like, I think, what do you say on like the Bobby Alltop podcast? He was like, Rhea Ripley is my muse or something. I don't know. Crazy. Point being is she has transcended wrestling to a point that not many other wrestlers in the past, 10 to 15 years have done. Again, someone that consistently breaks molds, pushes the sport. I mean, we really got away from that, like, Riptide on the table. Like, remember that spot? Like, why we haven't talked about that more? I don't know. I think that's fantastic. Also, like, isn't Rhea's like super young? Isn't Rhea like 26, 27? Rhea's 28 years old. Talk about someone who has a career ahead of them. Like, already a Hall of Fame worthy resume, career, whatever you want to say. And being 28, she still has like 10 more years, if not more, of her being in her prime. I think that's more than deserving of a number 4. I think when it's all said and done, I don't think it's crazy to expect her at that number 1 spot. She could be the greatest to ever do it. I don't think that's crazy. Io Sky should be higher. just Io Sky should be higher. All right, number 3. Trish. Oh, wow. Ooh, are they going to put Charlotte at 1? Okay, but focus on Trish. Trish deserves her flowers. Bronze medal. I mean, was number 1 in these lists for like the longest time, forever, until the sport just kept pushing and pushing. I think that's what someone like a Trish Stratus would want, right? I can't imagine someone like a Trish Stratus, tongue twister, wants to be at number 1 forever. I think someone like this, who I see from a very outsider perspective, just a fan, Trish seems like someone who is very prideful about the sport and women's wrestling and wants to see it continue to progress. And it's why she's gonna maybe keep getting lower down the rung in terms of like in-ring stuff, because like the sport and the division keeps on progressing into new heights. But she still is one of, if not the most important figure in the late 90s and early 2000s to push women's wrestling. Also, like I said, for, you know, Mickey and Lita, iconic feuds, giving a real spotlight to the women's division, and like still going. Like, she had the feud, she came back and like had stuff with Becky and like, and still kick most of the roster's ass, which is just super sick. A legacy in just, again, not just women's wrestling, but wrestling, period, that's going to stand the test of time. Love Trish at 3. Let's go to 2. I think they're going to give Charlotte 1, which might feel a little bit like the easy answer, but not necessarily. But I think Becky's going to be 2. At number 2, we have Charlotte Flair. So Becky's 1. Whoa! I don't think that's crazy. I don't think that's crazy at all. But Charlotte at 2. Charlotte deserves the podium. Charlotte deserves number 2. She deserves silver. I wouldn't even be shocked if, you know, she got gold. I don't think that's the wrong answer either. I mean, super decorated. What is she at this point? Like 13, 14, 15-time world champion, whatever it is. Her most recent stuff with Alexa Bliss is some of her best work in terms of just like character work and story stuff she's ever done in her career. It's fantastic. Also, props to Alexa. But also, and this goes for all the horsewomen, but like, if we're talking about the women's revolution and the 4 horsewomen and people that push the sport, and she had a real uphill battle with the last name Flair, and like getting so much crap for that early in her career, being under the shadow of a Ric Flair, and people really being like, you're not going to live up to expectations. Now, I mean, she is just on top of the world. She's a star. Someone like a Rhea Ripley that has broken into the mainstream. People know who Charlotte Flair is in the mainstream. Obviously, that's kind of a dumb thing to say. People know who Charlotte Flair is in the mainstream. And also someone who's had some of the most iconic and memorable moments. Like, you know, we're talking WrestleMania stuff. We're talking World Championship wins. Like, yeah, I mean, also one of the most athletic and gifted wrestlers on this list. And again, someone who, we kind of touched upon it, but someone who's gotten a lot of crap early in her career, not even just for the Rick stuff, but people, you know, talking about, I don't know, politics they know nothing about, and like Charlotte wins LOL and this, that, and the other, whatever. She is very talented. However, who I think is just slightly better in ring and has had stronger characters and done better work as face and a heel. Not to compare, but it's a list. We're comparing who I think is number 1, Becky Lynch. We haven't moved the scroll here yet. Imagine it's not Becky. Imagine if I say all this stuff and it's not Becky, but it's gotta be Becky. We'll go to number 1, Becky Lynch. So deserved. I think some of the best character work she's doing is right now. I love her and Seth being able to tag together. I love the heel character work she's doing right now. And like early on, people were like, oh, she's annoying, whatever. No, she's not annoying. She's been killing it. She's not the only one saying it. Sports Illustrated is saying it. You know what also specifically is saying it? Bleacher Report is saying it. She's fantastic, always reinventing herself. There's been so many iterations of Becky Lynch. And also, talk about theme song. Great track record of theme songs if we really want to talk about it. Iconic matches, iconic moments. I mean, the man is one of the best characters within the past X amount of years, right? Someone who can be trusted as the face of the company. The resume speaks for itself. The in-ring is fantastic. I don't think it's crazy she's the greatest of all time. She is kind of the total package if we're talking mainstream appeal, resume, track record in general in terms of in-ring, promos, character works, presentation in general. Fantastic. I love it. Can we get Io Sky bumped up? Io Sky is shockingly low. I get maybe she doesn't have like the resume yet, but this is what all the video is about. All right, next video is going to be Io Sky robbed from Bleacher Report, whatever. Honestly, a great list. I have some qualms, like we won't really go over it before the video ends. Top like 5 I have no problem with. Becky should absolutely be 1. Charlotte 2 is great. Trish at 3 again. Like any of those 3 women interchanging for number 1. There's no wrong answer there. Rhea Ripley at 4 I think is great. I think she's also going to compete for that 1 or 2 spot when we get down to it in honestly like even 5 years. Obviously Sasha Banks alongside the rest of the 4 horsewomen deserve all the shine and whatnot. Bianca Belair being so high at 7 I think is phenomenal. I love that choice. But all right, let's go with some stuff I disagree with. Enough of this. Oh, let's all be nice and disagree. Let's go with some stuff I disagree with. Lita should maybe be a little higher. I think Asuka is better in ring. Does she go maybe a little? I don't know. There's a conversation for Lita to be higher. Oh, I think, which, we already talked about it. We'll just go real quick. I think Ronda should be like way lower. I'm not trying to sit here and be disrespectful to Ronda. Again, I respect the work she did put in and her pushing the sport with the popularity of the Ronda Rousey name. Not that women didn't deserve it and couldn't get there on their own, whatever, credibility, skills, whatever. But, she did push things with her name and blah, blah, blah. But like, Ronda's high. Ronda's very high at 11. Paige, I think, is a little bit high, only because people under her are like an Io Sky and Liv Morgan. I think they should be a little higher. Other than that, Mickie James should probably be higher. I don't know. But I also get not everyone can be higher. Some people do need to get pushed down to make room for, whatever. But I don't know. That's where I'm at. I think that Ronda Rousey pick is going to be controversial. But folks, let me know what you think in the comments. What do you disagree with? What do you agree with? Who should be higher? Who should be lower? Who got snubbed from the list in general? I can definitely think of some women that weren't even mentioned on the list. That's that. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Catch up on everything. John Moonsalt channel, Stache Club channel, blah, blah. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace. Sorry, hold on. Naomi should be on this list. Where the hell was Naomi? Naomi should for sure be on this list somewhere. I think she's deserving a top 25 for sure. All right, that's it. Peace. Bye.